Welcome back, my dear students. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, my dears. A new lecture, a new work in our own curriculum. This is the fourth video. I will move forward right now to another point. Particularly, we will stop on the points of the written communication. On what about the written communication? What is the written communication? What do we mean by written communication? What do we mean by written communication? Communication, like we said, oral and written. What I'm doing just now, this is a written communication. It's written in front of you here. You can see on the monitor that we write here down this lecture. So by this book is written, is a written communication. Also, if you register or you write down, took notes or whatever, this is also a written communication. So written communication stands for any means of communication that is in the tool or the written way. Okay. So let us go and see how this works. Go back to the written communication. I don't know what happened here. Yeah, here we go. The purpose of written communication. What is the purpose of written communication? What is the purpose of written communication? Why we do written communication? And what the meaning of written communication? Let us see here. Written communication correspondence within or between organizations may take many forms. So like what as example? The crucial differences between oral and written communication will be important. Okay. Attribute to each. Oral communication will be basis of almost negotiations, liaison, team briefing. This is the oral and project management. But written communication, look at that. Now we are talking about the written here. But written communication will be viewed as an endorsement of oral statements. So you will register the oral statements. This is the meaning of the communication, of the written communication, having a permanence and contractual status. Permanence because it's permanent. When you write something, you will never forget it. It will be always there. Written communication can be used as evidence of previous discussion and arrangement. So you can use it also. You can retrieve it, recall it back. So it can be used as a method of arrangement. It provides the history of a project collaboration. It justifies an activity and provide backup and prove this all in the written. Okay. Written text make information immediately available because when you see, you can see all the information when it is written, it's always available to you. And in the same time, to an almost unlimited audience by admit of reproduction, photocopying and so on, or printing process can bring new media into our homes every day. But the oral communication is not like this. It doesn't have the same effect and it doesn't have the same power. However, now the purpose, we will go now to the purpose of written communications. So here I will go for another question. What are the purpose? What are the purposes or purposes of written communication? What are the purposes of written communication? What are the purposes of written communication? What's the purpose? What are the purposes of written communication? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Like the purposes of written communications are summarize key issues, invite response, respond to other written or oral communication. Those are all purposes. Establish a formal basis of communication, record the process of communication, provide a source of historical data, express corporate strategy, lend credibility to our attendances, indicate our intent of the communication, access a wider audience, ensure the accuracy of the message, share goals, visions, present information, and so on. What are the forms of written communication? This is very important. What are the forms of written communication? This is another question. What are the forms of written communication? What are the forms of written communication? So what are the forms of written communication? And this is how here, we'll take it here, down here. Okay, what are the forms of written communication? So the forms of written communication are the memorandum, the letters, the notes, very important this part actually, magazines and newspapers, instructions, labeling, databases, books, directions, like telephone directories, pamphlets, wills, and legal documents. The wills, with the will, like if I'm writing my will, if I die, this will happen, you give this money to this and so on. How I want to distribute the wills in between the inheritance or, okay, company literatures of the family, postcards, signs, briefs. So all these are written communication, reports, and business plans. All these are business communications. Okay, the purpose of a written communication within the business context, the forms that you need make best use of are the letters, the memorandums, the briefs, and the reports. Those are the four things which we use from written communication. From written communication, where in business, we use in business those four, those letters, memorandums, briefs, and reports. Okay. So when you talk about the general approach to business correspondence, we go to some points here actually. What information should be included? So when we say written, we put in our concerns points. How should it be presented effectively? What is the purpose of the communication itself? Who else need to access it? When should it be sent? How should it be sent? What type of responsive it should expect? And what is the most appropriate form? Letters, usually they have the first impression. Letters is much more than the text it contains. It is physical document and will be judged by the recipient as such. It is worth first considering the actually or physically of a letter. Physicality of a letter. What is it? Usually sheet of paper. Presented with a paper or card envelope. Note the following, however: paper quality, the weight, the color, everything about the description, the envelope, how the envelope looks like, logos and corporate images in the letter, typeface, the typeface easy to read or no, general impressions, does this letter give impressions? Does the letter appear to be one of thousands? It's unique, correctly addressed, the name and the place correct, the postmarks, the letter sent first or second class letter, the envelope addressed is okay or no. What are the purposes of letters? What are the purposes of the letters? Letters usually do the external communication introductions to a new client, like I want to send for a new client to tell him I have this product, will you buy it from me? Describing the purpose of the enclosures. So if you have any enclosures with the letter, so it's describing what's it about. Responding to complaints. This is one of the letters, like someone is complaining and you send him the answer through a letter. Summarizing key salient points made at a previous meeting. So if there is some points had been made on a previous meeting, then this will be there in a letter, should be written in a letter. And also arranging future meetings and updating of many progress reports and job applications also goes within those important or types of letters. Format of letters, like there is a lot of formats, especially particularly after the using MS Words, and that also help in how you will organize the letters itself, and the logos, the stationaries, the page, the margins, all this. Okay. Those are some examples about letters. As example, this is a logo of a letter, a business letter, and here is ABS business training, and this is the address here, and the contact information of the this company, the contact information of this company. So this is a business letter, and down here, those are the people who are author about writing the letter itself, or who will sign on the letter itself. There are also handwritten letters, but this is not very famous. There is the fax also, and the fax is a machine is connected to the cell phone, or sorry, to the phone, the traditional phone or the land phone, and you send through it. It's like a copy machine. So once you have fax, you can insert the document in it, and you dial the phone of the people, the receiver, and he receive it from there, receive the fax, the same document on the same time, on the same spot. KISS. Usually in the business communications, we use this, very important, KISS. And I will say here, this is a question just now. I'll take it as a question. KISS stands for and so KISS stands for what? Straightforward and simple. Straightforward, straight and simple. Okay, this is keep it straight and simple. Keep it straight and simple. How about, as example, the complaints? What you will do in a written letter responding to a complaint, what you will do in a complaint, be a result of careful investigation. So you and the facts, and you check out the facts very well, involve checking the accuracy of the statements, be viewed as an opportunity to reestablish good relations, be recorded as part of ongoing evaluation process, be proactive, not reactive, be viewed as an important function of the business communication process. So you identify the product issues, the internal communication difficulties, the external communication difficulties, the distribution problem, the personal and staff development requirements, and the re-evaluation of the customers. Those are the things which you can do in a business letter. Okay. You should use the most effective words in the most appropriate order, reflecting the content to the context of the letter. Consider the following examples. We have two examples here. This is a way of writing, and this is a way of writing. And you here compare between both of them. Of course, like here we see, sorry, I can't see you on Tuesday. I am going to visit my mother. I regret that I'm unable to attend our meeting scheduled for Tuesday, 12 July 19. Would it be possible to rearrange it for 19 July? Here is another way, which is more better, like, we are unable to deliver your goods you ordered before mid-April. The goods you order will be delivered by 22 April. See, look at this. As a result of our recent successful interface, I feel that we can embrace the concept of partnerships and mutual development. I felt that our meeting was most successful and would like to pursue the possibility of joint ventures. See, here it looks more pleasant and more nice and more attractive than the first one on the left. So to be impressive, ideas, the purpose of the correspondence, the method, what you plan for the structure, the paragraphs, open and close your letter, the recipients to whom you are sending the letter, emphasis what you emphasize about the style, try always to be KISS, K-I-S-S, keep it standard and simple, check for errors, omissions, and so on. Here, when you use the business letters, also is very important. When you use dear sir, ends with your faithfully. When you use, and you can also say with my best wishes. When you use the name, end with sincerely. So again, I would say here, when you use dear sir, match with your faithfully. But if you use dear miss or Mrs. or Mr. and you use the name, then you end with sincerely. And also, dear Caroline Dor Arze, you might end with best wishes. So when you write the names, you end with sincerely. When you write sir or madam, end with faithfully. That's another point I want you to know. For the letters of recommendation, if you are working in a place and you need a letter of recommendation, this is also a very important point. You have to know about it, a letter of recommendation. So the full name of the candidate, the job and the benefit of the candidate is seeking, whether the writer is answering a request or taking the initiative, how long, in what context the writer has known the candidate, for how long. I know this guy for 5 years. I'm recommending him for this job because he's the best one to have this job or to do the job. Facts of information relevant to the position of benefit sought, and the writer's overall evaluation of the candidate's suitability for the jobs or benefit sought. So this is an example, a letter of, this is as example is a letter of, a kind of a letter of recommendation should be including for recommending someone, or a reference letter. We call it reference letter. It should include all these points as we mentioned here. So this is another point. There are also letters that deal with complaints. There are also letters that deal with complaints, and we see here, this is one of the letters which deal with the date and right here, and to whom it's targeted here, dear Mr. Then I will finish with your sincerely, like we said here before. Dear Mr. will finish with your sincerely, because I said dear Mr. So I will finish with your sincerely, like we said before. There should be matching between the starting salutation and the complementary clause. We call this the complementary clause. We call it the complementary clause. Here, like you see here, it's a complaint, and you are answering about it. Letters of applications also is one of the letters which we use. It must be correctly addressed, acknowledge the source of advertisement, make a formal application, link the advertised position with your own current position. Okay. We have also the memorandum, which is internal communication. I just want to show you the memo. Memo is just to remind. It's a kind of reminder, as example. So here is the company, and you don't need to write the name, the address of the company, because the memo is internal document. It's written from one part to another part in the same company. So you don't need to write in the memo the address of the company. Further, so here it's just to remind about something. It's memorandum. Last week the drill was carefully. In fact, my staff ignored. The correct procedures must be adhered. So not only in the legal requirement. Okay, the next fire drill will take place on Monday. So I'm just reminding. So staff Bill must do stop work immediately, close all windows. So this is just to remind them what to do when they start to do a step or a process by the next week. And those are the steps they have to do. Leave the building quickly and calmly through the nearest fire exit, not use the left, and congregate the designated meeting points outside the building. So this is how, in case if there's fire, or this is about the fire drill procedures, and we make memo about this. Again, I'm saying in the memo, you don't need to write the address, because memo is internal document. Memo is, or memorandum is internal document. That means what? Internal document means it's sent from a department to another department in the same company. You don't need in that case to write the name of the company, because it's internal document. We'll come to another point, is very important, which is reports and report writing. Reports and report writing. And the report writing, I will show you a report and the components of a report. We want to go to it. Here it is. Here is exactly the title of the report, the author, the name of the one who wrote it, identify the person who commissioned the report, date report presented. After that, acknowledgements, table of contents, and status, or confidential, if it's confidential or not confidential. Then you go, those are the main things, the introduction part of the report. Those are the introduction parts of the report. Then we have main body of the reports, which is background or history about the issue or the problem, methodology or the procedures used to solve the problem, the findings and the conclusion, then a summary for the report, then a recommendations with the effective action plan taken to correct something, or then there is footnotes also. If there is footnotes, if you take from a theoretical parts from references or whatever, it must be written. Then the index and the bibliography and the circulation list, which is done sometimes at the end of the report. Actually, the report is, so here is example is introduction. Here is the finding. Here is the course contents. Here is the conclusions. Here is the recommendations, and so on. This is another example from a memorandum. And here is the formal report as example. Show you the contents, and we will, in the lecture, we will show how the reports work. Usually, we work on this to ask these questions about anything we are working about. The WHs, to serve the WHs, so the what, who, where, when, why, and even how. That's fine. So those are things which you will answer in your own reports. Whatever you are writing, you have to think about these things or these points. So like this, as example, the headline, then those questions you are serving, these questions, background details, customers benefits, and contact details. This is another thing. We talk about the article. We talk about the article. So those are also examples of here is an example of a business letter, and that's all what I want you to come to know today about writing in communication or business communication. For the moment, shall leave you in peace. Thank you so much. Have a very good night and see you very soon. Thank you.